Okay, we are live. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to this session. My name is Aparna. Just leave in your quick introductions on the chat. Leave your name and the city that you're from. We're streaming from Bangalore. My name is Aparna. I'm going to be your host for today. And we're also live on YouTube. So if you're live on YouTube and watching us, let us know your name and the city. Asad, Ayaz, welcome. People from the other side of the world, good morning to you guys. And good evening to people from India. Namrata, hi. Marcus, hi. Good evening. Okay, a lot of you from India, some of you from Nigeria, other parts of Africa. Good to have you guys. You can leave your name, whoever is from Canada. It's just for us to, you can also rename yourself. It's just easier that way. If you have questions, when we address you, we call you by your name. Okay, people on YouTube, leave your name and the city that you're from on the live chat. Great. Amar from India, Mohan from India. Okay. Shweta, Mohammed from Somalia. Good to have you guys. George from Canada. Good morning to you, George. Sarabjeet. Okay. Elena from Trinidad. Okay. Sahiti, Angie. Good evening. Okay. Christine, good evening. Okay, great. Good to have all of you. And, I know you're all set to understand the differences among the three career paths, the three most wanted, most sought after career paths: data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist. So you will understand the differences and, of course, which career path is probably more suited to you. So you'll probably be able to understand how you can make a decision, what factors to consider, what kind of skills you'll need to learn. And towards the end, we'll also talk about the Data Analyst Master's Program and what the program contains, again, what skills and tools you will learn. And we'll also explain the enrollment steps and collect your interest. Okay, right? So now that you've understood the agenda of this particular session, we'll introduce, the speaker as well in a while. But before we start, let me just, establish some ground rules, because there are a lot of you. We may not be able to address you as, by your name or anything while we answer those questions. We might compile questions together because there are more than 100 of you today, right? So that's a lot of you. So if we miss some question, please feel free to post it again, but be rest assured that your question will be answered and I will pass it on to our speaker. If you're watching us on YouTube as well, this applies to you. Please make sure that you're posting your questions if you have any. Use the Q&A box for questions and any other kind of interaction. You can use the chat box. Yeah. And one more thing, remember that we are recording this session, so you will receive a recording along with a certificate of attendance in the next couple of days. Yeah, expected by Monday. Why I'm saying this is because you may miss something, you may want something to be repeated. That may not happen, again, because of the amount of attendees that there are. So please make sure that you watch the recording when you receive it. If you want to watch it right away, then we're streaming it on YouTube. Okay? Yeah. So remember, Q&A box for questions. Anything else, use the chat box. I might close the chat box down for avoiding distraction sometime. So do not worry if you can't post anything, use the Q&A box. And yes, you will receive a recording and a certificate. Yes? Okay, a quick thumbs up if you've understood this and we're ready to start. Everyone on Zoom and on YouTube, if you're clear with this, because I don't want to be answering questions about certificate and recording. You know the answer. Okay? Okay, amazing. Amazing. If anything specific to your career, please put it on the Q&A box. We will ensure that it is answered. Right. So, quick introduction about Simplilearn. I'm sure you already know who we are, but we offer digital skills in various domains, data science, data analytics being just a couple of them. So, you can find courses in the other domains as well: AI, machine learning, generative AI. We've got a lot of courses there as well. I'm sure you already know. Yeah. So we've touched more than 5 million careers. The slide has a slightly different number: 5 million careers worldwide in more than 150 countries. Yes. So that's just a little bit about us. Now, let me introduce you to our speaker. So Amitendra has got 16 years of experience in analytics and statistical concepts. He's got a lot of experience in training, 4,500 hours. That's a lot of time invested in training and mentoring people in this particular domain. So you will get career advice from the best of the people in the industry. So Amitendra, over to you. You can introduce yourself to the learners.
Thanks, Aparna. Now, good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on the time zone, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Amitendra, and I would like to share a bit about myself. I hold an MBA and bring over 16 years of valuable experience in the corporate world, shaped up by a deep commitment to analytics and statistical principles. This enthusiasm has fueled my journey in training delivery and analytics product development. Throughout my career, I have had the privilege of collaborating with exceptional organizations and individuals, and I have dedicated over 4,500 hours to training corporate teams in data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, equipping professionals with the knowledge to leverage these transformative technologies has been immensely fulfilling. Additionally, I'm honored to partner with esteemed institutions like Purdue University and Caltech through Simplilearn, contributing to the education of future data scientists and analysts. So that's just a bit about myself, what I do.
Great. Thank you so much, Amitendra, for that introduction. And also everyone else, glad to have your introductions coming in. But now we would want you to answer a quick poll question about your experience. So this needn't be specific to the field of data. So we just want to understand how many years of experience do you carry overall? Okay, so use the poll on Zoom to answer that question. People on YouTube, use the live chat. Okay, and make it a little quick so that we can get started with the session right away. Okay, great. A lot of you with less than 2 years of experience. That's the trend. Please use the poll and only the poll to answer. You won't be able to see your response otherwise. Okay. Okay. Another 30 seconds and we will close the poll after that. Yes, Sajid, good evening. Ismail, good evening. Please put your answer on the poll. Great. So I'm just going to end it right here. And Amitendra, if you can see, a lot of them, more than half of them have less than 2 years of work ex. Right. So that's the audience here. I think I'll let it over to you now. Let's understand the differences between the three career paths: data analyst, scientist, and data engineer. So before, maybe you can start about how the demand for data professionals is right now.
So demand for data professional, if you see in recent time, even if you compare last 5 years to 10 years, there's a huge potential, huge demand across different career path that we are discussing today. So, and if you look at the numbers over here, last 5 years, we are talking about growth of 30% and above. And data job openings have increased over 40%. And it has further been fueled by not only industry adaptation, but also the change in technology and the newer advancement which has happened, especially in the generative AI field. So there's a huge growth that we are actually witnessing at the moment. average salary also, if you look into it, data scientist average salary has has average salary, you're talking about $120,000 annually, which is average in the USA, and you'll get very highly paid job in this particular field across industry. It doesn't matter which industry you're getting into. If the job role is related to data science, machine learning, it's a highly paid job, one of the highly paid job. And job availability, if you look into it, you have more than 150,000 job posting in US alone. That's a LinkedIn jobs. That's what we are talking about here. So if you look at overall picture, there is a huge demand for the professionals who can not only understand these concepts of data science, machine learning, data engineering, and data analyst, but they can also implement into a real-time problem. So that's how the demand is.
Got it. Great. So can you just highlight the key responsibilities of the three roles so that people understand what they actually do?
Sure. So data scientist, when you're talking about the main job role, if I discuss here, the focus would be to develop predictive models and machine learning algorithms to make data-driven predictions and uncover complex insights. And their work often involves experimentation and advanced statistical analysis, and uh, and they will be involved in designing algorithm, building statistical models, experimenting with the data. And as I mentioned, the focus is to forecast trends, identify patterns. Then when we move to data analyst, the key focus would be on interpreting the data to produce insights that support business decisions. They work closely with stakeholders to understand data needs and provide analytical solutions. And in terms of responsibility, if I have to further elaborate, data cleaning exploration we are talking about. So you get the first-hand experience with the data as a data analyst. You get to know how data is flowing, what kind of issues are there, what kind of inconsistency, if any, is there. And then you work with that, you explore further, you go deeper in the data, understand the patterns and the trends. And on top of that, you create some actionable insights. That's what data analyst job role is. Data engineer, when we are talking about data engineering, the data engineers are responsible for building, maintaining, and optimizing data infrastructures, pipeline, and storage solution to ensure data availability and quality. And main responsibilities would be designing and developing data architecture and data pipelines, implementing data acquisition processes, and integrating data from various sources. Not to forget optimizing data storage and retrieval, which is very important for optimal performance. So the goal is to make sure that data is accessible across the organization. It is reliable and easily scalable for any kind of upgrade that you are looking in terms of, it could be machine learning requirement that you have, or it could be some kind of application requirement. So these are the job roles that you have, and these are the key responsibilities by role.
Got it. Great. Thanks for that. What are the skills that they should pick up if they want to get started in these career paths?
Skills, if you talk about as a data scientist, if you're thinking, then core skills would be advanced proficiency in machine learning, statistics, and programming languages like Python or R. Familiarity with the data science libraries, like in Python, you have scikit-learn, you have TensorFlow for data manipulation, you have pandas, you have matplotlib, seaborn for data visualization, and also knowledge about different data visualization tools. That is very essential. So that's what is the core skill for data scientist. And soft skills, when we are talking about, apart from the technical skills, then analytical thinking, problem solving, because you're gonna actually come up with the different hypotheses. You're gonna define some problem statements, and then you're gonna do experimentation on top of that. So those are the soft skills you should have. And then tools, as I already mentioned, there are different tools available. If you are starting with Python or within Python, or you'll have different libraries. So main tools that we have mentioned here is Jupyter, RStudio, Scikit-learn as a library, Tableau, Power BI. Then we talk about data analyst. So data analyst, your core skills would be proficiency in SQL, Excel, data visualization tools like Tableau or Power BI, and sometime basic Python or R also I would like to add over there. Not to forget as a soft skill, attention to detail. Communication skill is very important. Storytelling with the data. How do you map different entities in the data to the business verticals or business processes? That's very important. And tools, as I mentioned, Tableau, Power BI, Google Analytics, these are the tools that you can focus upon. Then data engineers, when we are talking about the core skills would be proficiency in database management, ETL processes, data warehousing, data pipeline automation that we talk about, skills in SQL, Python, Apache Spark I would like to add here, and then different cloud platform that you have. It could be AWS, Azure, Apache Kafka. These are the tools and technical skills you need. And in addition to that, in terms of soft skills, not to forget systematic thinking, because you will be working with the data warehousing project, data architecture. So you should be very good at the systematic thinking, troubleshooting, and collaboration. So these are skills required for different job roles.
Great, great, great. Thanks. So how can one grow in these roles if they have to pick it up right now?
So if you look at it, this particular slide here, data scientist, we are talking about you. Entry-level job is junior data scientist, data analyst with ML skills. This is the part where you start working with a team which will have senior people in terms of senior data scientist or probably a chief data scientist, and you work with them in terms of solving some certain problem which might not be directly related to a project objective. You might be given certain tasks which might be you have to experiment with the data in terms of transformation or data wrangling, but that's a starting point at the entry level. You might get involved directly into a project as well. Entirely depends on the organization to organization. That's an entry point. And then after a few years of experience, the job evolved into data scientist, machine learning engineer. Then senior level, will have senior data scientist. So mid-level, basically, you will be mostly involved into hands-on implementation of the concept at most of the bigger organization. Senior level, the job might involve into management of the team as well, where you have to manage a set of data scientists or data analyst or junior data scientist. You need to guide them in terms of working on a project. You need to lead the entire project end to end. And this is the point where you start handling certain business stakeholders also, where you start interacting with the clients also at a much detailed level instead of understanding the problem only. So this is where you start getting into the top management. And the growth potential that we are talking about, data scientists, high demand in industries like finance, healthcare, and tech. But it's not that you do not have demand in other industries. You will see that other industries are also adopting machine learning and AI with a rapid pace. I have seen a lot of companies here when I'm talking to them. It could be dairy company, it could be small manufacturing company. They are actually focusing on implementing AI and machine learning into their systems. There's a huge demand across different industries. Now, when you talk about data analyst, the entry-level job is data analyst, business analyst. Data analyst would be mostly revolving around your job towards working with the data sources and then cleaning the data, working with it in terms of finding certain pattern in it, probably trends in it. Business analyst, when you talk about this job role, is little different from traditional data analyst. Over here, what you do, you understand how you are working in a project in terms of what kind of solution you are creating. Technically, you have understanding of it, and then you are actually acting as a bridge between the client and your technical team. So this is another job role which is quite popular and in demand these days, because not only you should understand the technicality of the project, you should also get the idea about how business is actually looking at those problem statement or those issues. That's why business analysts come into the picture. Mid-level, you work as a senior data analyst, BI analyst. You start working on multiple types of analysis that we talk about. It could be predictive, prescriptive. So you start looking at optimizing the processes as well. You start looking at multiple departments, how that can be streamlined. So basically your job will grow, the job role will grow in terms of the 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 extent of the spread that we have in terms of analysis and in terms of the business objective. Senior level, you start working as analytics manager, head of business intelligence. This is again a job which involves handling a team. So technically, you should be very good at different concepts and you should know how end-to-end a project work. And then you have to handle a team. And growth potential, if you look at it, broad applicability in marketing, product operations, and finance. These are some of the industries we are mentioning or vertical we are mentioning. But remember, these are the concepts or these are the tools which are handy in any of the organization, any of the industry. Then you have data engineer, starts at data engineer, ETL developer, and then it moves to big data engineer, cloud data engineer. So if you look at data engineer, as I mentioned earlier, the job role is mainly working with the data pipelines that we create. So data infrastructure. So you start at as a data engineer, grow into big data engineer. So again, your job over the period of time, it will evolve into a bigger spread where you will be handling multiple projects, and then you get into senior level where you start handling team. You can start working with the multiple teams as well, or you might have a bigger role in terms of handling different verticals at the same time. That's how it will grow. And this growth potential, if you look at it, essential role with expanding needs in AI driven organization. That's how the growth potential is.
Got it, got it. Great, great. Thanks. So how does one actually decide whether they should become a data scientist, analyst, or an engineer?
That's a very tricky question, Aparna, but if you see, we are talking about data scientist job role. If you love working with the data, solving complex problem, experimentation, and you are somebody who doesn't shy away in terms of trying new concepts to solve a particular problem, then this is the job role for you. You work with the complex data, complex scenarios. You work with the predictive models. You build machine learning models which can optimize a particular problem that you are having in the organization. So if that's something that makes you interested, then that's a job role for you. So a lot of experimentation, a lot of study also, I would say, because every now and then some new concepts will come into the picture, and you should be somebody who can go through those research paper, who can understand those research paper books, and then you can implement that into your Python code. That's the kind of job role, which is quite exciting, but at the same time, you have to keep reading new advancement. You have to keep abreast with the newer technology. That's what the job role would be, data scientist, if that suits your interest. Then data analyst, when you're talking about, it says passionate about storytelling with the data. That's very aptly put across over here. If you're somebody who can actually map different patterns tends to a business scenario, and you are able to convey what's happening in your data, why it's happening, and if we continue like this, what will happen, and what could be the course of action that we have to take care of. That's kind of work you want to do, then data analyst is the job role for you. Data engineer, when we are talking about, it's all about building infrastructure which will support your data scientist or data analyst, or probably application development which primarily leverage machine learning and AI. So you are actually building infrastructure. It could be data pipeline, it could be machine learning pipeline, it could be your entire application deployment which leverages machine learning and AI, and making sure it is properly monitored and maintained. If that's something which interests you, then data engineer is the job role that you are looking for. And in order to decide what job role actually is suitable to you, ask yourself, if I prefer working with models, data visuals, or infrastructure, That way you will get the idea. But at the same time, I want to tell you one more thing here, so that a lot of work that we do as a data scientist or data analyst or data engineer, there's a lot of overlap between these job roles. So it will also happen that you're working as a data scientist in a company, but they're also asking you to take up the deployment job. So be ready with that also. It's not necessary that you are working then you will touch upon any is related to data engineer. It doesn't have that way. So there's a lot of overlap as well. So probably when you're applying for a job role, look at the JD entirely, job description, and understand if that is something which you are looking for. Okay.
Got it. Got it. Great. So I think this answers most questions about how to choose a certain career path, or what you should, what you can expect, what you are expected to do in a certain career path. Now let's just understand, how you can expand your career, enhance your career in data. Yeah.
So career advancement in data. First point I really like, Aparna, which is continuous learning. That's something you have to. It's a continuous journey, I would say. You have to keep updating your skills, not only in Python, SQL, in the tools we are talking about, but also in terms of new techniques which are coming, new concepts which are coming. Might be a new deep learning model is coming, or a machine learning model. So you have to keep looking for it, and you have to keep studying what is new happening in the given field. Like if you see natural language processing in last 4 5 years, it has totally transformed entirely. And now we have GPT models, which is actually giving you a different experience altogether. So continuous learning is very key aspect. Then we talk about network and collaborate. You need to engage with professionals which are experienced in this particular field. Connect in probably, or meet them wherever possible. Talk to them in terms of what kind of problem they are solving, or what kind of challenge they have faced in the past in terms of solving a particular problem. Or probably you can always ask about that, how did they shape up their journey in this particular field. Then certification, look for certification like that adds a lot of value in your resume. So not only that it proves that you have learned something, but it validates your learning. So that's very important. So go for certification, whichever valid certification is there, like Simplilearn's data science or data engineering courses, which will put on your CV that you know the subject very well and you are able to implement it. Portfolio building, another aspect you should look into it. When you are solving certain complex problem, you might pick up certain case studies from Kaggle, and then build entire portfolio. Probably maintain a GitHub page for yourself, and then maintain all the work that you have done. You can participate in different competition on Kaggle, and that also you can maintain on your resume. Also you can put it on your portfolio on GitHub. That's a very good option that you have these days. And mentorship is something which really helps actually. Initially when I started my career, I have had a good mentor in my life, which actually helped me in terms of shaping up my entire career in this particular field. So mentorship is again very important, and I feel that most of the people you will come across, if you actually ask for help, they always help. That's what I would say. So mentorship is something that you can look into it.
Great. Thanks, Amitendra, for this. Now we have some questions, but we will just take them in a while. Like I said, we will do the Q&A towards the end. Right now, we want to understand what is exactly stopping you. What do you think is your hurdle? So hopefully the next few slides will answer a few questions that we already have. So I am going to be stopping sharing of the results. One sec. Yeah. Then here you go. So just let us know what is exactly stopping you to pursue a career in data, right? So, sorry. Yes. Just keep answering. Great. Great. Okay. So another 30 seconds for us to keep the poll live. And yes, all of you who have posted questions, I will pass this on to Amitendra in a while. If you're still looking to answer the poll, just quickly answer it right now. Yeah. All right. Great. So just if you can see the results, most of you, I mean, at least half of you feel that you don't have the practical exposure to pursue a data career, right? Or you can't find something that is comprehensive enough. You feel your work schedule won't allow you to upskill and become a data analyst or a data scientist or whatever career you want to pursue, right? So that is why all of our courses, including this one, Data Analyst Master's Program, has a curriculum that will prepare you to take up jobs right from the time you finish this course. And you also get a lot of practical exposure through labs, hands-on projects. And this happens with the guidance of advisors that are experienced in this field. Okay. And now all of your training is done via live virtual classrooms. So not the entire training, but sessions or modules that are specific and dedicated for live learnings. You will have sessions taken from these program advisors. There are also some self-learning modules where you get access to content such as PDFs, it can be a video, and then you have assessments at the end of each module to understand whether you have, I mean, to see if you've understood the concepts, right? So this course is 11 months long. It's a really long course, but what it prepares you for, like I said, it gives you the practical exposure. It gives you a curriculum that will, also give you the confidence that you can take up roles in this particular domain. All you have to do is to give in 5 to 10 hours in a week. So there are cohorts coming up, and I'll talk about that in a while. Remember that we also have a learning advisor who is answering certain questions about the course. So if you do have questions specific to the course, even after what I've covered in the slides, please put them in the Q&A box and our learning advisor will be there to answer them. Any of the other questions, we will pass it on to our expert and he will answer it. Right? So this course is in collaboration with IBM, and let's just understand how IBM really is involved. So along with the modules that you have, R programming and Python, you get electives such as masterclasses, industry masterclasses conducted by experts from IBM. You also get certificates for these courses from IBM because you've completed them, right? And then you have hackathons and Ask Me Anything sessions. And this is again to enhance your understanding of the concepts that are taught, right? So that is how IBM is involved. And you can check this out in the course curriculum as well. So this is the certificate that I was mentioning. Okay. So Amitendra, if you can just take them through the course curriculum here.
Sure. So if you look at the course over here, starts with the business analytics with Excel. So this particular program focuses on how you can utilize Excel to analyze your data and come up with some actionable insights. It focuses upon different tools available in Excel like data analysis tool pack, or it could be pivot table, or it could be Power Query, which can help you in analyzing your data in more efficient manner. And then on top of that, you can build your reports, dashboards, or probably start creating certain insights. So this is what this particular course will do. It will give you the idea that how Excel itself could be a problem solver for a variety of scenarios. That's what it focuses upon. This particular program will also give you a lot of idea about Excel functions, which are very useful in different analysis, and certain add-ins which are available, probably you are not aware. It will be introduced in Excel program so that you can analyze your data and solve some optimization problem as well. Then we move to SQL certification course. This focuses upon building skill set into SQL. It starts from introducing you to what database is and why it's useful. And then it gets into the SQL coding. How do you write queries to solve the different kind of problems or answer different kind of questions. So that's what it does. And this also is actually divided into two parts, where you will have SQL Basic and SQL Advanced, covers the entire ecosystem of your SQL databases, make sure comprehensive understanding of databases, and you are able to write complex SQL queries to answer certain questions. That's what is your SQL certification course. Then you move to programming basics and data analytics Python. Here we are focusing upon giving you idea about what programming is all about and what are the different programming paradigm, what kind of programming structure Python follows. And then we introduce you with Python, how Python is very suitable for data analytics. And we discuss about different kind of data structures that Python has it, or how Python can help you in creating certain pipelines which will be suitable for your data science or data analytics project. That's what we focus upon over here. Then we move to R programming with data science. Here we are focusing upon R programming, how it's helpful in data science. So we start with basic programming with R, what kind of data structures we have in R, what kind of libraries you can utilize to solve different kind of business cases, business problems, and and then uh, and then how do we create R scripts to automate certain processes. That's what we do over here. Then we move to data analytics with R, where we start focusing on analysis that you are supposed to do on the data. So different kind of statistical techniques which can come very handy in order to understand the data at a deeper level. And also you can build some predictive model. That's what we'll be discussing over here. So we'll be discussing over here some statistical models, some mathematical models, which are very key to build any kind of predictive model you are looking for, and then how R comes very handy in terms of implementing those ideas. So that's what
Right.
data analysis with R will do. Then we move to Tableau Desktop Specialist Certification. Here we focus upon how Tableau as a BI tool works and what are the utilities you have in that, how you can build a dashboard in Tableau right from adding data sources in Tableau and eventually creating dashboard. This entire path will be taken care in this particular program. And
Amitendra, maybe
eventually
you
you
can
will
keep
have
your video off
industry.
because sorry to interrupt. Yeah, now I mean your video is a bit stuck, but your voice is clear. So maybe if you can keep your video
Oh,
off, I think it will save some bandwidth. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Now, okay. So I was saying the last part is industry focused capstone project, which focuses upon testing your knowledge right from business analytics with Excel till your Tableau. So this is a comprehensive capstone, which will be checking your knowledge on different aspects of not only your Excel knowledge, but SQL, R programming, and eventually your statistical modeling technique that you have learned. All this will be tested in Capstone, and this is a very, very comprehensive capstone that you are supposed to solve. That's an endpoint. And in addition to that, you will also have electives where you will have Power BI certification training. That's an elective where we deal with the Power BI concepts. How do you build dashboard in Power BI after adding different data sources? And then data analytics industry masterclass will be conducted where you get the understanding what kind of real-time problem we are solving and what kind of challenges you will face. This will be done by some industry experts. So these are the electives. This is the entire program that you have.
right. Great. Thanks, Amitendra, for highlighting the course curriculum and how they will be, what they will be learning exactly. If you can just highlight the tools once again, I know you highlighted them when you talked about the skills, but how are these tools exactly important for a data analyst? If you can just highlight the importance.
Sure. So what happens is if you look at the entire analytics project life cycle, you start from the data collection and eventually you deploy your analysis, or probably you come up with a report of your analysis. So at different stages, different tools come very handy. Like for example, Pandas, which is mentioned over here, is the main data manipulation library. And when you are doing data wrangling or data cleaning, it comes handy. Similarly, SciPy could help you in terms of doing some hypothesis testing on the data, or it could be Excel where you can try certain optimization on the given problem. NumPy comes for the mathematical computation that you do. And Power BI Tableau will work as a BI tool where any finding that you have done on the data could be actually put across in a very nice dashboard, which will be user friendly and interactive. And similarly, MySQL will be your basically data, one of the data source which you might have to connect to Python in order to analyze it. So these are the tools, libraries, and platforms you will need to learn, and that's what we'll be covering as well.
Great. Thanks. Thanks for highlighting that. You also talked about the capstone projects and how they are important. So these are some examples of capstone projects in various domains. So you will be working with real-time data sets to understand, to kind of analyze data and get insights from them. So Amitendra, if you can just highlight one project as an example and how they will be working upon it.
Sure.
Hmm.
So if I pick up, say, e-commerce sales dashboard, here the idea is that the objective would be to analyze the entire data and create a comprehensive sales dashboard. So this data belongs to e-commerce domain where you have the transactional data, like every day, what transactions are happening, what are the transaction number, what products have been sold, and then what was the amount that has been collected, what was the product that we had, that who was the product owner of that, in a sense that who has done the sales, which region it belongs to. All that data is there, and then you have to analyze that and create a comprehensive dashboard which can highlight the different indicator, the different so-called KPIs that we talk about, key performance indicator, highlights that and gives a very interactive report to the end user. So that's what one of the project is, and this is quite an interesting project. Actually, it gives you the idea that how you start from a very raw data, which is transactional in nature, and then compile that, aggregate that, and transform eventually to create a dashboard on top of it. So that's one of the project that you will be working, and that's quite interesting one actually.
Great, great. Thanks for highlighting that. Let's understand some learners and how they've leveraged these programs. Of course, I'll just share the link to the course page so that you can see what the other learners have to say, apart from the ones that you see here. Sorry, that's the data scientist. Now I'm sharing course page link, data analyst as well. So you can choose any course you can in case you would want to pursue whatever career path, right? So these learners have used the data scientists and business analytics program, and they have leveraged this to find better opportunities or grow within their job roles. So you can read their success stories on the course page. I've shared the link for you to go through. Now, this is the certificate that you receive from Simplilearn. And this is the certificate that you receive from IBM for IBM specific courses, right? So one thing that I missed to mention is that when I mentioned about live classes and self-paced learning content, the self-paced learning content, which is essentially the PDFs and the video lessons, they are available to you lifelong. Yeah. So you get the access through a learning management system. Now, of course, the interface is very, very similar to what you see here, not specific exactly for the course that I'm talking about, but you will have access to the course and the learning module in a similar setup. Now here, what you can do is you can reach out to the help section for any queries regarding your progress, regarding accessing the course. It can be anything. So you've got 24/7 support here, right? And this access is available to you after you have enrolled. Okay. So that's just a bit about the course. You've understood the curriculum. You've understood how this is exactly going to be your catalyst to becoming a data analyst. You've understood how the capstone project helps you gain that practical expertise that you feel you lack. And then you also receive certificates that will add to your credibility, right? So with all this information, I would like to understand whether you are interested in this particular course. So I'm just going to launch a very quick poll. Please click on a yes if you're interested and let us know. You will be contacted by a learning advisor. Now, the reason I've given the QR code here is that you can scan it and understand the details of the course. This is how the course page looks like. You can also check out the fee details there, your financing options, whatever it is, right? So remember that the next cohort starts tomorrow, but we have upcoming cohorts in the coming months as well. The duration of the course is 11 months, and we've told you that you've got access to 20 plus industry relevant data analytics projects, and then you've got tools. You also learn a lot of tools. Yes. So these are some platforms that have rated us. So this validates that a lot of learners like these courses and find the course actually useful. Okay. So I've shared the link to the course page here. Alternatively, you can enter your details here on the course page in order to talk to a learning advisor. But the easier option is for you to enter your answer in the poll. Okay. Okay. That's great. So I'm just sharing my screen, resharing it back to the deck, and let us take a look at the enrollment steps. Now, what happens is that you fill up an application form on the course page, and then the admissions panel reviews your application. And then after that, we roll out an offer letter if we feel everything is fine. And then you can pay and then become a part of the course, right? So there are also weekend classes for you to choose from. Remember, this timing is just for Indians, IST, but we do have courses for people living across the world. So even for people living in the US, Australia, Saudi Arabia, you can be from anywhere. You can still find course timings specific to your region, which is why I've shared the link to the course page. Yes, right. So now that you've understood all about the course, please feel free to click on a yes. And while we do that, we'll collect and answer some questions. So, yeah, Amitendra, I'm just going to pass, a few questions to you. Someone has asked if we can present a live data and solution in the lecture itself. So, I don't know, is it possible, or maybe can we do this?
Aparna, probably we can have one webinar where we'll pick up a problem and solve it in the classroom. That might be interesting to them.
Definitely, definitely. So we might promise is her name. So we promise her maybe that we will take this up, as a suggestion for the upcoming webinars. So someone has a question here for someone in the research industry related to plant science and biotechnology. Which of the data roles is the best for them? And a similar question was there for pharma. Someone was from the had an accountant background. So what should these people exactly be doing?
Okay, plant science, when you're talking about or pharmaceuticals, I would say starting a data analyst job role would be quite uh, natural. It would be for them because that starts with the analyzing data, and it could be data related to agricultural yield, plant genetics, or when you're talking about, say, pharmaceutical, it could be clinical trials or pharmaceutical research outcomes that you are looking for. I'm just answering for each of
Yeah.
the vertical that you have mentioned. And similarly, when you're talking about accountants, so accountants basically uh, more accessible for accountant, this data analyst job role, I would say, as it leverages analytical reporting, your data interpretation skills it test, and it aligns well with accounting as well. So if you're talking about these industry where or vertical where you are already working, you have some experience, I would say start with the data analyst job role and also see that how you can actually couple your experience with the data analysis. Like, for example, you have been working in a particular field already, you have gained some industry exposure, and now you can say that or data analysis in general can actually enhance your existing skill set and can add value to the business. That's how you have to look into it. So I would say start as a data analyst if you already have this kind of background. Okay.
Right, right. So someone also had this question about how do they, I mean, you already mentioned this as a part of your session, but how do they really choose whether to become a data scientist or a data engineer or a data analyst. So should they have a certain background if they have to become a data scientist or a data engineer? What kind of background should they be having, or what fundamentals should they be covering?
Generally, if you're talking about any of these job role, you should have strong foundation in basic statistics and basic programming that we talk about. And then you can pick up different tools, different libraries that we have spoken about, different frameworks. But if you're thinking to get into it, I would say that start with the understanding of the statistical concepts. That's a foundation. And it doesn't matter which job role you're choosing, that's something which will come handy in any of these job roles. So I would say if you want to build your skill set, start over there, pick up programming as well, pick up one or two BI tools and work on that. So that's what you should do.
Right. Got it. Got it. Um, yes. So I would like to ask you another question that is coming in. I would like to ask you how statistics, data science, and data analysis are different from each other with respect to the tools that we use.
How? What did you say?
How statistics, data science, and data analytics, how are they different from each other? When they're using a certain tool, how will they use it differently if it's for statistics, data science, or data analytics? That's the
Well,
question, I think.
well, what happens, there's a lot of overlap in terms of concepts, techniques that we deal in data science, or when you talk about statistical modeling, that's what I'm assuming you are talking about.
Yes.
So what happens is what a lot of concepts that we are dealing here would be common across these said job roles or responsibilities that we are talking about. So when you're saying data scientist job role or data analyst, both of them have to have good understanding of the statistical model. It could be say a linear regression model, it could be say a hypothesis testing method, it could be time series analysis. So it doesn't matter whether you're working with data analyst or data scientist, eventually the concepts should be clear to you. You might have a little different in the job role in terms of like which part of the project you are working on. Like data analyst, when we are saying initially you will be working as a someone who will be doing some descriptive statistics or probably some diagnostic you will be running on the data. So that requires your understanding of basic statistics, statistical interpretation that you do based on the data. And when you start working as a data scientist, eventually, then you start building statistical model on top of it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that it's not that one concept is only for data analyst and then it will not be used in data scientist job role. It kind of grows on top of one another. In terms of tools, when you're talking about, probably I can say that when you work as a data analyst, mostly you are required to work with the databases and then you work with certain tools as Excel, probably basic Python and Power.
Yes. Got it. Got it.
And when you move as a data scientist and predominantly you'll be working with Python or R, you might once in a while connect Python or R to one of the databases. So you might write some SQL queries here and there, but mainly you will be working with Python and R. Okay.
Right. Got it. So a few more questions before we close is so Amardeep feels that this curriculum of the data analyst course is more designed for freshers. Um, I'm not sure of how to answer this question. What is there for experienced people? Why should experienced people be learning something like this? So that's their question.
As we mentioned earlier, that the different job roles are there. We discussed about data analyst as a job
Yes.
role and data scientist and machine learning engineer or data engineer. And that's what we mentioned over there, that it depends on what kind of job role you are looking for. So here the program we are talking about data analyst, that's correct. That's one type of job role we are discussing in the program we are talking about. And that's the reason we have different programs. We have programs for machine learning engineers also. We have program for data engineers also, or data scientists as well. So
Yeah.
idea is what suits you, what is your and what is the job role that is interesting to you. And that's what we were discussing on that slide, that what is there to work in in one of these job roles, and accordingly you have to ask yourself that is this something you are looking for. And if you think you are looking to work as an ML engineer, join our ML engineer program.
Yeah, got it. Great. So someone has a question, what technology should we use for AI? And okay, but I think we have answered this question, but I will still, suggest this. What technology software should you use for AI and DA, DS, and DE? So that's the question.
Okay, I will give you the overall framework when you talk about all these job roles. So we are starting with the basic Excel in a sense that if you have a small to medium size of data, Excel is sufficient to do a lot of analysis. So you should know about them. And as a data analyst, you can start with Excel, Power BI, your Tableau, SQL, and then you are moving to say data science job role. So there on top of it, now you should have good understanding of say SQL also when you're working as a data scientist. It's not a must, but if you
Mm.
have working knowledge, it will always be helpful to you when you are actually connecting uh, uh, an application to a SQL database or MySQL database, whichever. So when you move to the next job role, then probably you'll have to, like when I'm talking about data scientist job role, then you'll have to know how Python works, how R works, and how do we connect Python to different sources, different data sources. In addition to that, if you know, suppose one of the BI tool, that will come very, very handy. It's not a must, but it comes very handy. Similarly, when you are moving to data engineering, so then you have to start working in terms of creating data pipelines and machine learning pipelines. So then you start working with the more of a data infrastructure we talk about. So you might have to look into ML ops, you might have to look into certain data warehousing as well. So there you might have to work with the application development, application design. So it depends in terms of what job role you are looking for. Some of the tools will be common in across different job roles. Some of them will be very exclusive to one of the job role. But more or less, I have seen if you pick up Python, R, and one of the BI tool, you are actually nicely covered and just add SQL to it.
Got it. Great. I hope that answers your question. Promise has another question. What type of data will a ship inspector likely to work with?
Ship inspector, when you're talking about, it might be related to like it might be ship if we what do you call just a sec. So I'm saying that it might be some efficiency data that you are working with, how good or how bad the overall machine performance is in terms of different different machinery involved, different kind of operation involved. So it could be say vessel and structural data which is there. It could be it could be blueprints and schematics. It might be hull and deck integrity you talk about. Might be safety equipment logs you are having. So might be safety equipment and compliance record you might be working with. You might be working with as I mentioned, machinery data. So it could be engine and machinery data, like you might be having machinery inspection logs, fuel consumption and emission data, which is there. It could be, say, cargo and loading information. So you will have data related to that. And on top of that, you might have some environmental or operational data. It could be weather and sea conditions. You might have port conditions that you want to analyze. So these are the data that you might be working in as a ship inspector.
Right. So one more last question, and then I think we'll close here. How does one take up a job after finishing a course? And I think that question everyone will have commonly, but this person has about data science. They choose a data science course. How will they exactly land a job? So do you think I'll be able to do some task if at all I was given a job as a junior data scientist? So they have that question.
Now that's why we discussed about building your portfolio. So once you are
Yeah.
enrolled into this particular program, you will start getting into what kind of problem we are solving. And as we start covering certain concept, you start looking into certain problem across different platforms. It could be Kaggle, it could be any such other platform. Pick up the problem, solve it, build your portfolio, put it on GitHub, what all you have done, and then give a good structure to it, put up on your resume, and that will start talking about what kind of work you have done in the past. And not only you discuss about your work in terms in terms of like when you're building a GitHub, say, portfolio, don't just talk about that what you have solved. Also mention that what kind of challenge you faced, what kind of issues happen, and how did you resolve them. And then going forward, what could be done on that particular solution. That's kind of portfolio you should build. It should not be only that you have taken a particular problem and here is my solution. It should not be limited to that. That's very common. So you have to actually enhance your portfolio as well by adding these elements that I mentioned, and then you start applying. And if you have the right skill in terms of presenting your knowledge and you have done hard work, you'll definitely get a job.
Got it. Great. So thanks, Amitendra, for patiently answering everyone's questions. Now that we're done with the Q&A, I think I will just end the course poll as well. Thanks so much for your interest. The course page link is still available on the chat. You can click on that and then, mention that you're interested in the course, and someone will reach out to you and explain you the details. Yes. So right now we're just taking another poll for letting us know how the session went, how you liked the session. I'm just launching a quick poll here. Just let us know how satisfied you are with how the session went. And we've also considered someone's request about doing a live demonstration with a data set. So we'll probably do that the upcoming months. Great. Okay. Okay, yes, John, to master the tools that Amitendra had recommended, yes, the Data Analytics Masters Program is the right choice for you. Like I said, the course page link is still there on the chat box for you. Okay? Okay, great, great. Thank you so much for your ratings. Now I'm going to launch a poll asking you your full name to receive the certificate. So please make sure you enter your full name here on the poll so that we email you the certificate. So while they do that, Amitendra, do you have any closing thoughts, any advice before we leave?
I would just say thanks a lot for having me here and listening to me so patiently. And I wish you all the best for your programs that you're gonna enroll. And let's meet up in the classroom, take it forward. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Ahmed, I don't think we'll be able to capture your name like this. Please, I'm just giving you an email ID. Email us and then we'll give you your recording and certificate. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Right. So I'm just going to keep the poll live for another minute and then we will wrap it up. Okay. This is how your certificate is going to look like. You will receive it in the next couple of days. Yeah. Ahmed, I have given you an email ID. Please reach out there and then we will email you the certificate in the next couple of days. Okay, I'm giving you the email again. If you have already answered, you might not be able to enter the poll again. Yes, yes. So please make it a little quick. People who haven't answered, I would encourage you guys to answer the poll. Yes, another minute, and then I will have to wrap up the session. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So we do see a lot of people interested in the data scientist course as well. Someone is interested in the postgraduate program in data scientist. So all of you, I suggest that when you give a yes on the poll, when someone actually reaches out to you, please mention to the learning advisor that you are interested in a certain course, and then they will elaborate that to you. It's not necessary that you always have to take the data analyst master's course just because you are, a part of this webinar. Yes, my chat is disabled, and here you go. That's the email ID, Christine. Okay, and again, Karen, not here on the poll, please. Stay up. Nearly 100 of you have responded. I'm pretty sure everyone can access the poll, but for people who can't, I've shared an email ID. Please email your requests there. Yes? Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for joining in again. Thanks, Amitendra, for your time today. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to understand and learn something today. Also, thanks to people on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the session as well. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.